Hey, Stoic soul. Tonight you find yourself lying awake, the blue glow of your phone painting shadows on the ceiling. You replay old memories, siblings laughing in sun-bleached backyards, secrets whispered under blankets, promises sworn over melted ice cream. And then you see what you never wanted to see, the silent terrain that's grown between you and the ones who share your blood. There are no arguments left, just distance. You scroll, you wonder, you ache. Why does family become foreign? The Stoics told us, what fate brings together, fate can also pull apart. We suffer most not from the loss itself, but from our refusal to accept that loss is natural. If you feel that chasm, breathe. Tonight, we unearth the silent reality of siblings who become strangers, and the Stoic path to dignity when ties unravel. From childhood thoughts to old family photos, you believed your sibling was your forever ally. You grew up in a shared universe of plastic swords and rival cereal selections. An alliance everyone, including you, assumed couldn't break. But time, like a slow river, wears away all stones. The stories of childhood become set pieces in dusty rooms, their colours fading as each year climbs higher. You thought forever was a promise, not a phase. The myth of forever bonds, especially between siblings, grows legs early and tends to run faster than the truth. After all, who could possibly outmatch the formidable team of you versus Mum's extremely questionable tuna casserole? Or the stealthy SWAT operation against the secret stash of Halloween candy? The world seemed vast, your tribe tiny. 2 mini gladiators equipped with Nerf weaponry and a code, don't rat. What a shame the adult world only occasionally requires you to leap from sofas in your pajamas attacking invisible space invaders. But time has other plans. Suddenly, the person who once needed you to check beneath their bed for red-eyed toy monsters morphs into a stranger with their own playlists and preferred texting abbreviations. The sibling language, a dialect of eye rolls and inside jokes, grows rusty and forever becomes negotiable. The living room fort gets replaced by awkward conversations at family reunions, where you both try to convince Aunt Sheila you really do keep in touch. You might feel the urge to blame yourself, as though you misplaced loyalty the way you once misplaced the TV remote. But drift is not disaster. It's gravity. Even the planets that look close in the night sky are actually neighborhoods apart. Most people, Stoics included, want guarantees. A loan on emotional permanence with no interest rates or surprise fees. But the universe, as Epictetus politely doesn't remind you, offers rental contracts only, and sometimes it's subletting your friendships to new tenants when you least expect it. You see it illuminated in awkward birthday texts, bland yet urgent. Hope you have a great day is code for I'm doing my best to keep patching the raft while the river carries us apart. It's enough to make you want to corner the universe and demand a celestial refund. Excuse me, I paid for Infinity Sibling Bond. I'd like to see a manager. But, alas, the myth of forever bonds holds up about as well as your old treehouse in a thunderstorm. The real magic, the Stoic will tell you between sips of herbal tea, isn't eternal connection. It's learning to love while knowing the expiration date is a mystery. Human bonds, like the seasons, circle in and out. To expect otherwise is like yelling at autumn for dropping leaves. As you lie awake, remembering childhood laughter echoing behind closed doors, consider this. Those alliances were never wasted. They built the person you are, the resilience, the humor, the very ability to weather what comes next, alone if necessary. Seneca would pat your shoulder and say, keep those memories. Gently. Don't cling, or you'll crush them. Because while forever bonds might be a myth, the lessons from those bonds, awkward, hilarious, poignant, are very, very real. So, yes, tomorrow you may both RSVP, maybe, to the family group chat. Maybe you'll trade memes more than secrets, or see each other only at weddings and funerals. But the fundamental Stoic revelation is this: relationships are valuable precisely because they are not guaranteed. The laughter, loyalty, and even the faded cereal box truces are precious not for their duration, but for the warmth they lend to your ordinary, extraordinary life, before returning to the world, like favorite pajamas, finally outgrown. Conflict rarely arrives like a thunderclap. More often, it's the silent, daily irritations. Who broke the remote? Who got more praise? Who didn't apologize? We brush them off as childish spats, then let them harden, layer by invisible layer. The real distance forms not in one argument, but in 1,000 unspoken disappointments. You stop asking. They stop telling. Resentments make their home behind locked doors. Imagine your mind as a quiet kitchen. There's a leaky tap, drip, drip, drip. Each drop is a small annoyance. Steal my fries? Drip. Cancelling plans again? Drip. Leave the socks in the living room? Again? Drip. You tell yourself, it's fine. You're stoic. Much too mature to bring up the sock situation for the 13th time this month. But even the legendary Marcus Aurelius, privacy-loving emperor, would have snapped eventually if Cassius left his sandals in the walkway every single day. That's the thing about grievances. They accumulate interest, like gym memberships you never use. Picture your emotional grievances as invisible. Post-it notes plastered all over your psyche. Didn't text back. Used my mug. Forgot my dog's birthday. At first, you toss them into your mental junk drawer, figuring you'll declutter them someday. But as any junk drawer enthusiast knows, decluttering day never comes. We think we're being noble, letting things slide, practicing forgiveness without the dramatic speeches. In reality, we just get really good at sighing. Deep, meaningful sighs. The kind that make your partner say, "What's wrong?" And you reply, "Nothing." Congratulations. You have entered the Cold War era of relationships, sponsored by tiny unresolved issues and world-class passive aggression. Ironically, it's often the smallest things that grow the sharpest thorns. We steel ourselves for grand betrayals and Shakespearean drama, but end up undone by dirty dishes and someone forgetting how to replace the toilet paper roll. No, it doesn't go on backwards. Thank you very much. Modern Stoicism tells us to focus only on what's in our control, but when it comes to domestic disputes, apparently both the dishwasher and our emotional regulation are out of warranty. As you lie in bed, stewing over whether to bring up that weird comment your friend made 3 weeks ago, the voice of Epictetus floats dreamily into your mind. It is not events themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. You nod sagely, then immediately add another grievance to the list, titled, "Friend is bad at group texts." Maybe you'll address it tomorrow. Maybe you'll move to a hermitage instead. The art of silent grievance hoarding is universally practiced and universally disastrously effective at destabilizing trust, intimacy, and the general emotional ecosystem of your home. Like a roommate that never pays rent, resentment hangs around, eating your snacks, muttering, "Remember that thing they said in 2019? No wonder Seneca recommended daily self-examination before bed. He knew that under the duvet, surrounded by existential darkness and the ominous glow of your phone, every minor frustration has the potential to become a life's philosophy. But let's not be too hard on ourselves. Part of being human is pretending it's fine until one day you're giving a TED talk to your cat about the remote control conspiracy. The Stoics weren't immune to this either. They just had better beards and more scrolls. Still, they recognized the need to confront these daily annoyances head-on, lest they become the kind of monsters that make peaceful sleep or peaceful cohabitation impossible. So as you drift off tonight, do a gentle audit of your own silent collection. Release a few grievances into the wild. Let the socks go. Let the wrong tone in that text ride the Zen river out of your mind. Fill the space with something lighter, a good-natured laugh, or at least the resolve to mention the mug situation before the year is out. After all, life's too brief to let your heart become a landfill for small complaints. Marcus wouldn't want it that way, and neither would you. You watch your siblings' life play out. Better job, more friends, flawless Instagram vacations. Or maybe they seem lost, while you secretly hope you came out on top. Either way, comparison tightens its grip. The world keeps score, even if you pretend you don't. The Stoics remind us that comparison invites misery. Your piece is yours to win, not to measure. What is it about the human brain that delights in compiling highlight reels titled Other People's Achievements? The movie, with you cast as the hapless sidekick. You scroll, double tap, and wonder if your coffee art will ever foam so perfectly. Comparison is the algorithm's favorite pastime, and soon it becomes yours. The philosopher Epictetus had no idea what a filter was, yet he warned us all. If you want to be happy, stop measuring your happiness by the happiness of others. Makes you wonder what he'd say about TikTok dances. Comparison turns ordinary days into Hunger Games of self-worth. There's always the friend who runs marathons before breakfast, the cousin who just happened to invent a life-changing app, or the co-worker whose houseplants don't just survive, they thrive. These people aren't even in your lane, and yet, somehow, you're convinced you're losing a race you never signed up for. Stoicism's reply: unsubscribe. The Stoics believed that envy poisons joy by redirecting your gaze outward, not inward. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, ruler of the known world, probably couldn't do a handstand, but still managed to write. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. If the CEO of ancient Rome says it's all about mindset, maybe he was onto something. Social media engineers this tyranny perfectly. Tiny glowing rectangles whisper, everyone else is having a better time. But much of what's posted is the philosophical equivalent of a painted backdrop, picturesque, curated, and hiding a pile of unfolded laundry just out of frame. Wisdom comes from knowing the difference between what's displayed and what's real. Seneca might have said, "A beautiful photo is like a gilded cage, shiny from a distance, but hardly comfortable to live in." Of course, it's not just about flashy vacations and avocado toast shots. Even offline, comparison seeps in. Who got promoted? Whose kids have shinier hair? Who can pronounce quinoa properly? It's as if there's a cosmic scoreboard floating above each person's head, tallying points you're not even sure how to earn. The Stoics would urge you to walk off this imaginary field. You have power over your mind, not outside events, Marcus would say, sipping herbal tea in a toga if pressed. Real wins don't show on scoreboards. They unfold quietly, in small choices, kindness to yourself, honest effort, a well-timed nap. Life is not a leaderboard. You're not an avatar. Here's where it gets radical. The ancient Stoics didn't suggest you just stop caring about other people. Instead, they taught, care about fellow humans, celebrate their victories, sympathize with their struggles, but don't link them to your worth. Your value is innate. You wouldn't ask a sunflower to compare itself to a pine tree, So why do it to yourself? Each path is unique, and trying to measure it disrupts the only peaceful metric that matters: your own tranquility. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, picture all the imaginary scoreboards shutting down, all the racetracks erased. Imagine applauding everyone else's quirks and wins without tallying your deficits. Envy dissolves, peace returns. The tyranny of comparison ruled you for a while, but the Stoics hand you the crown of your own mind. Turns out, the only competition worth winning is who can let go first. And in that contest, you're already ahead. You wake up one day and realize you don't even recognize the person in your family group chat. What once seemed like playful differences, one neat, one wild, now feel like foreign ideologies. Beliefs harden, habits diverge. You wonder, is it loyalty to stay close or wisdom to accept who people become? Seneca whispered bluntly, to each his own nature. Picture it, you, clutching your phone at 8 a.m., eyes glazed as your aunt shares yet another meme about the right way to load the dishwasher. But as you skim through the GIFs, hot takes, and unsolicited essential oil advice, you stumble on something darker, a confrontation. Someone is setting boundaries. Someone else is disappointed in the family's choices. Someone just sends a thumbs up emoji, the digital equivalent of changing the subject at a Roman bathhouse. It's tempting to scroll past, keep it light, play family diplomat. You recall Marcus Aurelius. Does my peace depend on their opinion? Or am I simply haunted by group texts? The ancient Stoics didn't have WhatsApp, but they had their own messy circles. Dinner parties, lectures, letters, where every "I hope you are well" meant, in fact, "I hope you are well," unlike your cousin, Festus. But there's a hitch. The more you observe, the more you see everybody's driving their own philosophical chariot, some to glory, some straight into a pothole. Your grandmother clings to thrift like it's the last lifeboat on the Titanic. Your little brother spends entire afternoons plotting his next viral TikTok, which mostly involves juggling grapefruit in the driveway. There's no judging, only curiosity. Well, maybe a little judging, but quietly, and with the air of a stoic statue. Unmoved, slightly bemused, possibly carved during a particularly taxing family reunion. As the chasm between you and others widens, your inner philosopher starts doodling in the margins of your mind. Is growing apart a tragedy, or just entropy at work? Epictetus would arch an eyebrow at your distress. Remember, your only task is to master yourself, not your uncle's collection of conspiracy theories. If only you could mute real life as easily as a group chat. Instead, I left to practice modern Stoicism. Breathe, observe, and accept that even if you buy matching Christmas sweaters, you're secretly applying for existential asylum elsewhere. Then there's the sharp sting of nostalgia. You look at old photos, cheesy grins, awkward bowl cuts, a family cat who never judged and occasionally yacked on your Xbox controller. You remember when differences were endearing, a cousin's wild stories, another's insistence that raisins ruined everything. Now, those differences feel like rivers widening between islands. You start to worry, is disconnection disloyalty? Are you a bad friend, sibling, child, simply for drifting? Seneca would put down his stylus and sigh. It's not wrong to love from afar. When values diverge, he'd say, it's not a betrayal to drift gently, but stubbornness, clinging despite misery that wears away peace. Imagine if the Stoics had read today's self-help books. Every chapter would just be one sentence. Detach, but send a thoughtful birthday card. Modern Stoicism whispers, seek the common ground of shared humanity But don't twist yourself into a pretzel to keep the peace in the group chat. Instead, practice gentle firmness. Your no can be as calm and as silent as a mountain wrapped in fog. If others protest, remember, their journey is theirs. Yours is to keep your coffee hot, your spirit calm, and your phone on silent. Tonight, drifting towards sleep, you let go of every ping and notification. You picture your family group chat, a digital mosaic of quirks, convictions, and the occasional passive-aggressive recipe link. You offer a silent nod, to them, to yourself, to Seneca hiding in the cloud backup. Each to their own nature, you murmur. And finally, the notifications blur into dreams. Family events return you to the scene of the past, but the old warmth is still missing. You replay jokes that no longer land. You sense everyone curates conversations carefully. The harder you grip for connection, the more elusive it becomes. Stoicism asks, can you love what is, even when it's not what it was? It's the annual gathering, held in a living room that smells, always inexplicably, of both cinnamon and ancient furniture polish. You glance around. Uncle George, who hasn't actually read any of those business books on his shelf, is silently judging your snack choices. Children parade past with the dead-eyed focus of tiny gladiators forced to smile for relatives who still call them pumpkin. You remember the glory days, running in the yard until dusk, building epic pillow forts, and swapping stories about which cousin secretly eats glue. Now, conversation revolves around weather apps and mutual funds. Nobody confesses to glue consumption anymore. You try to conjure the old jokes, only to be met with polite head nods, or the affectionate, "Oh, you haven't changed a bit." Translation: please stop reminding us of 2008. The old bonds feel strained, like the waistband of your jeans after 3 slices of Aunt Deborah's surprise casserole, whose texture implies rebar. You watch your family, faces arranged in careful, polite expressions, sharing stories so sanitized they barely have a pulse. It's like a sitcom, filmed before a live audience of cats. Lots of blinking, 0 applause. And yet, deep down, you ache for some golden, irretrievable version of these people you once knew. Epictetus would suggest that our distress isn't in things themselves, but in our opinions about them. He might raise an eyebrow, were he invited to the reunion, which, let's face it, he'd probably refuse, and ask, what if you accepted the dull, awkward energy for exactly what it is, instead of resenting its failure to live up to your nostalgia? Imagine viewing your family like a work of abstract art. You don't complain that the painting doesn't look like a photograph. You stand back, squint, shrug, and accept that someone thought this was a good idea. Maybe family gatherings are like that. A splashy, weird arrangement of personalities, full of odd angles and colours that don't quite match but still end up on the same wall. There is a secret superpower here, hidden under the snack plates and nervous laughter. Letting go of the urge to resurrect the past. Even Marcus Aurelius, who probably attended more royal banquets than you've had hot dinners, wrote about allowing life to be what it is. The world spins, uncles age, inside jokes retire, and you, the sensitive philosopher lurking behind your baked brie, can choose to marvel at it all. To love your family not because of how it used to feel, but simply because they are yours, now, in all of their flawed, present tense humanity. You can laugh quietly at Uncle's classic stories repeated for the 7th year running, told with the conviction of a man reciting Homer. You can extend grace for Aunt Deborah's casserole, which may contain more secrets than actual ingredients. Most of all, you can let nostalgia be what it is, a gentle ache, not a summons to restore lost time. By loosening your grip, the Stoics whisper, You free your hands to hold what's actually here. So the next time you stand in the kitchen, swirling cheap wine and pondering the family DNA, recall the words of Epictetus, who might calmly assure you, expectation is the root of all heartache, but also, yes, that casserole. Family may never be the reunion you crave in your head, but with a little wit and a dash of stoic wisdom, you can make peace with the awkward art show that it is. And maybe, just maybe, fall asleep with a gentle smile, dreaming not of what was, but of what simply, unglamorously is. You weren't just siblings. You were the other person's safety net, unwritten therapist, secret keeper, and sometimes emotional punching bag. Unmet expectations breed unspoken blame. You sense anger floating in the air, though no one says a word. You wonder why your sibling wasn't what you needed, never pausing to ask if you communicated what you really needed. It's funny, isn't it? You could probably write a PhD dissertation on your sibling's worst habits. Sock hoarding in the living room, fridge Tetris, Olympic-level eye rolling. Yet the things that actually matter are the words nobody ever says. Mum asked you to look after each other as though you'd received a secret operations manual, when really you were just handed half of an expired granola bar and a vague sense of responsibility. Expectations are like silent roommates living rent-free inside your head, moving the furniture around at 3 a.m. and spilling emotional coffee on the carpets, while you tiptoe around the mess and wonder who's going to clean it up. There's that school play, the first breakup, the time you both got locked out in the rain. These moments somehow stacked a quiet tally of what you thought you could expect from one another. Sometimes that expectation was a hug, sometimes an impromptu roast session at your expense. Sibling support wasn't always love letters. More often, it was aggressive, get up you loser pep talks, delivered from the opposite end of the sofa, accompanied by the dulcet tones of bag of chips being eviscerated. But underneath the banter runs a stream of quiet hope, that they'll understand when you're down, that they'll notice when you're quiet, that they'll fix it, or at least bring you a snack without you having to ask. Trouble is, these hopes get folded up and hidden, like old notes in a memory box, because it seems terrifying to admit needing anything at all. A revelation on par with announcing, by the way, I'm the phantom who's been eating your Halloween candy for years. The Stoics might smirk at this tangled web and gently remind us of the freedom found in lowering expectations, preferably down to ankle level so no one trips over them in the dark again. Marcus Aurelius would probably sit you down and suggest, hey, maybe don't expect your brother to be a mind reader. That's a lot of pressure for someone who still draws a blank at your birthday. But unspoken expectations never travel alone. They bring their emotional entourage, resentment, guilt, disappointment. You find yourself relitigating the great forgotten birthday of 2012, replaying the exact tone your sister used when she said, I'll be there, even though history has proven she mostly shows up 3 to 5 business days late. Some part of you keeps score, even as you swear you're above that kind of sibling bookkeeping. In the modern age, the silence is only louder. You text a meme as a peace treaty. You send a heart emoji and hope it translates as, I forgive you for borrowing my hoodie and never returning it. Your group chat becomes a digital arbitration panel, ruled by passive-aggressive gifs and mysterious read receipts. Everyone's trying to be chill, but the collective Wi-Fi signal is strained under the weight of things unsaid. So, your relationship becomes a business of quiet negotiations. Who shares? Who sulks? Who sweeps things? Under what rug? It's a fragile alliance, like two cats pretending to ignore each other on parallel windowsills. Someone hopes for validation. Someone else waits for an apology. But perhaps Stoic wisdom lies in what you don't demand. You step back, squint at your expectations, and realize they were shape-shifting all along. Maybe your sibling was never a mind reader, just a fellow navigator, paddling a leaky canoe on the same unpredictable stream. And, at the end of the day, while you can't control who forgets your birthday, you can let go of the script you wrote for them in your head, and finally breathe, noticing the air just got slightly lighter. Every faded bond is haunted by guilt. Was it something you said? Something you should have done? You walk through old arguments in your head, wishing you could edit the past like a clumsy email. The Stoics say, remorse wastes the present. Shame is the chain we choose to wear around our own necks. Consider the late-night replay reel, the moment when your brain, bored of counting sheep, decides instead to count every social blunder you've committed since kindergarten. There you are, an unwilling spectator, reliving that time you misunderstood the group chat's tone, or accidentally called your old boss Mom. Stoicism offers no reminders for your phone, but would recommend you simply mute the mental notifications entirely. Marcus Aurelius, possibly the world's first do not disturb practitioner, advised us to drop the past unless we plan to build a sandcastle with it. No matter how hard you squint, you're not getting a time machine out of worry. Guilt, when left unchecked, becomes a full-time hobby. It's like signing up for a pottery class, only what you're sculpting is a permanent frown and tension headaches. Seneca might suggest you retire from your own memories, just as you'd cancel a streaming subscription that only ever shows you embarrassing reruns. Life is better lived when not binge-watching scenes of personal regret. Modern psychology agrees. Rumination, our brain's favorite sad playlist, is proven to crank up stress and bring nothing helpful to the table. In the wild, a gazelle flees the lion, survives, then gets back to snacking. Only humans freeze-frame emotional dangers and create entire miniseries called Will They Forgive Me? Season 3. Friends, you are not required to be both the actor and the over-invested critic of your own past errors. Stoicism doesn't say, feel nothing. It says feel better. Sure, acknowledge the squirmy feeling in your chest, but don't invite guilt to move in and redecorate. Think of guilt as one of those pop-up ads on your morning scroll. You can click close without reading the whole thing. It's perfectly stoic to sigh, say, regret, my old pen pal, and then move on to making breakfast, or maybe a questionable life decision involving cinnamon toast. Was it something you said? Maybe. Was it something you did? Maybe. Would 5 straight days of self-flagellation improve the outcome? Unlikely. Epictetus, sitting there in his tunic and possibly very fashionable sandals, reminds us, it's not the things themselves, but our judgments about them, that trouble us. The universe has already moved on to the next episode. Perhaps you should join it. Of course, there's always the temptation to send a text at midnight. Sorry for that thing I said in 2019. But ask yourself, is this apology for them, or just you searching for closure like a customer service agent on hold with Past Mistakes, Inc.? If reconciliation can be done with dignity, do it. If not, forgive yourself as liberally as you would a friend who borrowed your favorite mug and then accidentally or used it as a plant pot. Life is messy, so is healing. Lying in bed, chased by what-ifs, try the Stoic approach. Consider what is within your control. If there's a lesson, learn it. If there's an apology to be made, make it. But at some point, give yourself permission to let go. The past is, as the Stoics might say, not your jurisdiction. Tonight at least, pass the torch of responsibility to your future self. A very capable person, by the way. and let guilt slip quietly out the back door. You are here, in this moment. No chains, just room to breathe. You can't brute force closeness. Trying breeds bitterness. The wise detach not to discard, but to preserve their own serenity. It's not abandonment. It's putting down what wounds you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is madness to try to fit your soul to another's pattern. Control returns when you stop arguing with reality." Let's picture it. You're at a party, determined to be friends with the loudest person in the room, who is, at this very moment, arm wrestling an acoustic guitar. You try to join in, share a joke, become their best buddy by midnight, but every attempt feels like squeezing into a pair of jeans 2 sizes too small. Not only uncomfortable, but unnecessary self-torture. The Stoic doesn't tighten their grip. They simply step back and marvel at the spectacle, perhaps dropping a silent, internal high five for resisting the gravitational pull of chaos. Controlled detachment is not emotional apathy. It's the art of meeting reality where it stands, not where you hope it vacations. When relationships or situations turn prickly, our inner amateur therapist tells us to try harder, to fix it. Repeat after me. You are not a relationship mechanic. Detachment isn't disinterest. It's the decision to stop chasing the delusion that you can change others by will alone. Instead, practice being the wise turtle, head and heart safely tucked inside, observing the storm pass by, shell uncracked. Letting go doesn't mean becoming a cold, emotionless cyborg. It means you value your inner peace more than your urge to project manage everyone's lives, including your own. By putting down what wounds you, you leave space to hold what comforts you. Your breath, your dignity, your ability to buy ice cream in peace without plotting a 12-step reconciliation plan, for every awkward acquaintance in the frozen foods aisle. Stoics like Epictetus would often remind their followers that freedom is born from acknowledging what is and isn't within their grasp. You can't force a cat to appreciate your saxophone solo, and likewise, you can't force chemistry, friendship, or the return of that perfect avocado once it's crossed over. When you detach, you become the director of your own internal drama, not just an extra stumbling around in someone else's melodrama. You observe without absorbing, engage without entanglement, like a Zen ninja surrounded by emotional, Wi-Fi signals, connected, but not logging in. If detaching sounds cold, remember, even ancient philosophers had annoying neighbors, overzealous relatives, and occasional existential FOMO. The difference is, they learned not to internalize borrowed troubles. Their mantra, let others sit atop their own emotional volcanoes. Your role is simply to avoid roasting marshmallows on their eruptions. The elusive control part means your heart is open, but your panic room is still operational. What does this look like at midnight, when worries make a mosh pit of your thoughts? Instead of mentally rewriting conversations, or crafting the world's first Nobel Prize-winning text apology, you choose softness for yourself. Place what you can't control gently on the mental windowsill. Watch how the urge to fix morphs into the art of acceptance, a trophy inscribed with, "Congratulations, you survived, not fixing it." Marcus wasn't wrong. It's true madness to fit your soul to someone else's pattern. Own your contours. Detachment, properly practiced, is a return to yourself, like a cosmic home address scrawled on the inside lining of your jacket. When the world invites you to clench, you can choose instead to loosen your grip. The wise understand, being at ease with reality is not defeat, but the ultimate victory dance, preferably in your comfiest philosophical pants, far from the arm-wrestling guitarists of the world. Sleep comes easiest when you know you've put down what couldn't be carried, and committed to carrying only what's yours. There is mourning here, mourning the living, mourning the shared past, mourning what never was. But in the ashes of expectation, you find something unexpected. Relief. Relief that you no longer have to perform a role you outgrew. The deep breath after letting go feels traitorous at first, and then holy. Silent grief tiptoes through your days in mismatched socks, clumsy in its attempts to blend in. It lingers least, graciously in the quiet spaces, brushing your teeth, scrolling aimlessly, or waiting in the pantry, pretending to look for rice you never intended to cook. Here comes the aching echo, a pang for old laughter or endless winding phone calls about nothing and everything. The world expects the waterworks, the Shakespearean wailing, yet you grieve uniquely, in furtive glances at saved texts, in awkward half-smiles at strangers who remind you strangely of someone you once knew. Nobody claps for this performance. There's no audience. The curtain falls silently, but the stage remains, messy, littered with props from old acts you vowed you'd never repeat. When the dust settles and the phantom applause dies down, you discover an unexpected hush, a liberation masquerading as loneliness. Old obligations fall away like leaves in autumn, crunchy beneath your feet. No more memorizing your lines or denying your quirks. You can finally dance badly in the kitchen, overshare with your pets, and wear socks that make absolutely zero emotional sense. The guilt bubbles up, a sneaky little voice whispering, "How dare you feel better?" But that's just the remnants of an outdated script. Stoicism tips its hat and says, "It is what it is, kid. Accept the plot twist and move on." This grief is mostly internal, like smuggling snacks into a cinema. You carry it quietly, an uninvited guest at the party of your renewed selfhood. It pops up in odd places, at the supermarket, when you realize you no longer buy their favorite cereal. On your walks, when you notice the silence is softer, more spacious, stretched out just for you. No one tells you that finding comfort in solitude is the punchline to the cosmic joke of loss. The world writes about closure as some grand, cinematic moment, but most of it is forgetting to refill coffee mugs you used to share or realizing your playlist is free from passive-aggressive ballads. And yet, liberation tiptoes in on the heels of your secret, grief. It's not the wild freedom of montages set to inspirational indie tracks. It's the subtler, grown-up joy of not explaining yourself again and again. The weight you carried, every expectation, every compromise, melts quietly, like an ice cube at the bottom of a forgotten glass. For a while, you feel untethered, even guilty, like you've lost something vital. But then comes a lighter breath, a braver step, a gentle permission to laugh again, even if it sounds a little rusty at first. As the script changes, you claim new roles, not as the aggrieved, not as the eternal caretaker, but as yourself, gloriously undefined. You start making decisions out of want, not obligation. You no longer rehearse conversations in the mirror. You mispronounce words and laugh louder than you should, and astonish yourself by simply enjoying your own company. In silence, you begin to notice how much space there is to fill, with curiosity, with hobbies so weird even the ancient Stoics would raise a skeptical eyebrow, with new rituals for sleeping, waking, and everything in between. The loss is still there, shadowy in the background, but it's less of a prison and more of a muse now. Let it linger. Let it teach you the art of secret liberation, the Stoic punchline that you can't control every plot twist, but you absolutely can control your response. And if that response is spending a Saturday night in pajamas, eating cereal for dinner, and feeling the holy relief of being nobody but yourself, then let the world grieve for your old roles. You're too busy living the new ones. You don't have to burn the old pictures. You don't have to hate the people you once loved. You simply stop demanding that everyone walk your path. The new family contract is silence, respect, and distance when necessary. And you, Stoic soul, finally return to your real duty, mastering yourself, not your relatives. If the previous family contract sounded like a legal document drafted in chaos, with clauses like, "Thou shalt never change at Thanksgiving," and sub-clauses like, "But thou must answer my texts immediately or else," consider this the silent renewal. It's less about terms and more about tone. No more negotiating emotional rent. No more courtroom dramas over ancient slights. Picture the Stoic boardroom. Everyone wearing togas and negotiating with single, sympathetic nods instead of raised voices. The family contract now reads in invisible ink. I respect your journey. Mine will be different. Pass the mashed potatoes. There is tremendous freedom, even comedy, in letting go of the director's chair. Imagine an invisible notary stamping approved on your decision to stop trying to rewrite everyone's script. That cousin who believes yoga cures taxes, let him. The aunt whose meatloaf could render a philosopher speechless. Admire her zeal or her seasoning. Your role is spectator, not editor. You do not need to explain your boundaries with dramatic speeches, nor must you illustrate your growth with interpretive dance at the next reunion. Sometimes the Stoic way is less glitzy. A pause before you reply. A gentle, maybe next time. The subtle art of leaving the group chat. Acceptance is not passivity. It is a creative act. A daily redrafting of your expectations, punctuation included. Hope becomes a soft period instead of an exclamation mark. Disappointment is simply a comma, not the end. You're less of an emotional customs agent now, checking everyone's bags for forbidden feelings. Your passport only matters for one, your inner self, and when guilt tries to smuggle itself in, you give it a gentle pat on the head and wave it through, understanding it, but not letting it dictate your itinerary. Modern Stoicism isn't cold or aloof. Neither is the new family contract. Think of it as the emotional Wi-Fi password you choose who to give, when necessary, then change it whenever you need stronger security. Mutual respect becomes the invisible fence. Love, if present, is less a raging bonfire, more a steady lantern on each person's porch. You stop measuring relationships in hours or frequency of texts, and instead value the cool, rare moments of true understanding, even if they're few and far between. Let others interpret your distance as they will. You aren't assigning blame, you're assigning freedom. No secret scorekeeping, no silent resentment tax, no invoice for missed birthdays. There are no medals for being the martyr, no demerits for taking time to recharge your spirit. In the end, rewriting the family contract is less about drawing new lines than it is about unclenching your fist, offering an open hand, and sometimes even an open window. You're allowed empty space on your roster. You're allowed silence that is not anger, but altitude. You're allowed to love from a distance, with a smile and a hope that everyone else is also doing their best, or at least doing what makes sense to them. When you stop chasing consensus, you find tranquility. When you choose modesty over martyrdom, you find your life uncluttered by rivalry and regret. You become a philosopher in pajamas, sipping tea and letting drama pass by, like an untended group text. Eventually, everyone stops responding. The world tells you that family is everything. The Stoics tell you family is training. It is the cradle of your first joys and your first wounds. When siblings become strangers, it is not always a tragedy. It is the invisible rhythm of fate, cleaving old chords to introduce new harmonies. Tonight, you honor the ache, but surrender the obsession. You choose dignity over nostalgia, clarity over confusion, and the quiet power of releasing what does not belong to you. Rest now in the knowledge that detachment is not defeat. You honor both the memory and the boundary. You are not adrift. You are sovereign. Walk quietly. Walk free. The world tells you that family is everything. The Stoics tell you, family is training. It is the cradle of your first joys and your first wounds. When siblings become strangers, it is not always a tragedy. It is the invisible rhythm of fate, cleaving old chords to introduce new harmonies. Tonight, you honor the ache, but surrender the obsession. You choose dignity over nostalgia, clarity over confusion, and the quiet power of releasing what does not belong to you. Rest now in the knowledge that detachment is not defeat. You honor both the memory and the boundary. You are not adrift. You are sovereign. Walk quietly. Walk free.